Hey everyone, welcome to part 2 in the painting using Luminaire Air Dry Paints. I hope everything's going well with your first layers of paint. I'm happy with mine. Danny's turning out well. There's a difference you can see between the top of Danny's head compared to the base, which I don't paint. So before we start on the next layer, I wanted to just talk about the different applications you can use in applying the paint. Now, as you've been watching, I have been painting on with the brush, ripping off the top of my wedge, and then just pouncing out to give that sort of grainy effect. Another thing you can use is the bottle gourd sponge. Very popular. It's great because you can hold it really easy. It's very comfortable. It hasn't got any sharp edges like the cosmetic wedge does, so it won't leave any sharp-edged marks onto the kit. Very easy to apply, just like this. And the other third one is the natural sea sponge. These are also good, just like with the cosmetic wedge when I rip the edge off to give it that grainy effect. This one gives it a little bit more of a grainy effect. It's also used in the mottling look, as is the ripped holes out of the end of the cosmetic wedge for the mottled look. But we'll do that a little bit later anyway. So they're the 3 or 4 things you can use. Of course, you can use other products. Everyone's innovative and uses their own things, and that's okay too if it works for you. So let's get started with the next layer of the paint, and it's going to be another flesh layer. So I've got my water, and what I'm going to do today is I'm going to use a 3/4 full of that bottle cap. I'm saying that because in my other applications I have had paint left over and I can't waste things, so what I do is after it dries, after the 20 minutes, I go and make another application with what's left. Now that's not a problem, that's quite okay, but I thought today I'd be a little bit better and just try to get the one application. So my little jar, putting my water in there. So the first colour we've got is light flesh, just like you were using the other day. So remember, that's like the fawny coloured, creamy coloured paint. So I just put my brush in there just to dampen it a little bit, remove excess water, and I'm just going to get like one side of my paintbrush covered, other side blank, and mix that in. Okay, so then I'm going to get my medium flesh. Remember, that was the peachy coloured pink, light pinky coloured flesh tone. So the same amount for that one. And mix it in. Okay, good. The third colour, we're going to use a third colour on this one, is purple wash. So I'm going to use the same amount again. And mix in. Mix in well, so any of those little pieces on the bottom floating around get all mixed in. I'm just checking for my paper so I can do my practice. Now, not sure if you can see that, it is like a lilac, beautiful color actually. Okay. I've got my paper and I'm going to do my test to see if I'm happy with that. Put it on there if you can see. I think I can have a little bit more colour in that. So I'm going to do the same as I did last time. I'm going to add one of each again. Looking forward to seeing some of your babies once they're done, or how you're going. It's always great for me to see everyone's progress. I never get sick of looking at other people's babies, that's for sure. You should be proud to show it off. Okay. I think that's going to look really great. Just want to mix all that in really well. Should be able to just see that there. Okay. There's a little bit not mixed in. Okay. Get my paper this time. Yes, that's perfect. Hopefully you can see that there. I can definitely see the colouring in there, and I'm really happy. Okay, so I've got my kit as we always do, and I'm going to paint it directly on again. My favourite way of doing it. It's great to see the kit slightly changing with every layer. In the ears, don't forget to get in the ears. And as I was saying in the last episode, we need to make sure that the paint doesn't pool in the ears and in any creases. We don't want it to pool. Now I haven't as yet opened up the little nostrils of Danny, so that is a technique I always love to do. I normally do it with a drill, but I think I'll do, just after this, I'll show you how I do it with my nasal tool, which allows you to bore it out. So I'm going to give that a try so everyone can see what it's like, and maybe you might like to get one yourself. Otherwise, the drill I always find is very direct and works great. Okay, so I've painted over the entire kit, and you'll see there's some little bubbles and that there, extra bits. That's where I have to come along with my cosmetic wedge. So I leave that for a second. I'll just pull my cosmetic wedge off the end. Okay, so just once again, in case you didn't see before, it gives it that grainy, speckledy sort of look. So it's not like all flat. We don't want it to be flat. We want to get some look into that. So then I just literally, you can see where there's some that's pooled up there, and I literally just pounce over ever so lightly. I don't want to take the paint off, but I do want to give it an effect. So that's working good. Okay, so I might leave you with it now. Do that over the entire kit, and then leave your kit to sit for the 20 minutes before you start on the next layer. Going well, guys, keep it up. Okay, so let's get started on our next layer. Actually, but before we do, I've got this tool here. It's called a nostril awl, AWL. This is going to be the first time I've used this, because usually I use a drill to do my nostrils. But this is one of the tools I supply in Aussie Reborn Supplies. So it's like a thick-ended needle. You can see that there's a point there, And what you do is you put it in the nostril and you spin. So I'm going to do that now. Just directly in the center of the nostril, poke it in and spin it around until it gets to that thick end. Sorry, Danny, doesn't look as bad as it is. Okay. And I'm going to go down into the deeper, thicker part of it because I really want to widen that nostril. Okay, so you can see that that is slightly opened there. I personally would have to say that I like a more opened nostril. I like it to be like ours, like fully open. But this is definitely good and easier if you're a bit afraid of using the drill because of the electric point of it, and it's so fast. Some people are afraid it's going to strip their kit. So you can see that. You can definitely see they're open now from what they were before. And that already gives that definition, that change. So yeah, that's pretty good. I will be doing what I usually do, and that is getting the drill. I like them to be definitely more open than that. But as a tester and as someone who doesn't like to use the drill, I would recommend that. It definitely opens up the nose, and then towards the end when you're it's finishing off the baby and that, you get the piece of black felt and you glue it behind the nostril, and that gives it even more definition, more depth, so it looks like it's open. So that was an exciting little trial there. Okay, so let's actually start with the next layer. As you can see, Danny's going pretty good. We definitely got a change there. Ever so light. You can tell though. I can personally tell by looking at it that it is different. So we'll get our water. Once again, I'm still going to go for the 3/4 cap. And as you can see, I personally got very little fingers, but that's only a little small cap. So you're going to hardly use any. Okay. Great. Okay, so with this one, it is another flesh type of tone. So we're going to start with the light flesh, as we have been. So because I have been using extra every time, going back and use extra, I'm going to cover both sides this time because I know I'm going to use it. So mix that in. And also just remember, each layer, even as translucent as it is making a difference in the end. It will give you, wow, I've just got the light behind little Danny and it's shining through. He's looking really good. So just taken away from my concentration there. But yes, in the end you will be happy. It will give you, the whole look will be more than if you didn't do it. If you didn't do these little layers, then those different flesh tones wouldn't be there. Okay, so we're using the medium flesh now, and once again I'm going to use a full side of each. Okay, and the third color we're going to be using is Asian flesh tone. So that one is like a mustard sort of color. So we're really going to be able to see some differentiations. I can't even say the word. We're going to see some different looks now. I'm going to use one side of each because I know I'll use it. So mixing all of that in. And we're coming up with a lemon yellow type of colour at the moment. Mix this in well. Okay. So if you can just see that there, the lemon yellow type of colour. I'll get my paper. Yeah, look at that. That's great. So we're going to certainly see some differences here. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to just paint it on as I do, as you know I do. Get used to my technique by now. Fully paint it over your entire kit. If you're sick of watching me paint over the entire kit, just fast forward a little bit. But you might miss something funny I say. Okay, in the ears. Gotta always make sure we get in the ears, in the creases, in behind the ears. It's ever so important. Just to show you how we're going. Okay, so I've done all his face. You can see it's all over there, and it is pooling in the creases, as you could see on a close-up look. And that's what we do when we come along with the cosmetic wedge, like I've said before, and we just pounce all over the kit and making sure any of those pooled areas are not pooled anymore. Okay, so I'll leave that with you. You know how to do it. Keep going, do your limbs as well, and let it sit there for 20 minutes before you start the next layer. So I think we're going really well, and there's only really about 4 more or so layers to go in this technique. Once we get to the end of the 4 layers, I probably will be going a little bit further because I like to get some more detail in, and I will still show you what I do with that. So anyway, let's keep going. Okay, so we're doing really well. I think we're really getting there. Last night I did the nose opening with a drill on baby Danny. So the holes are a little bit more larger. I like it that way. I think it's more realistic, as you can see. Our flesh tones are going good. You can see there's a difference there between the bottom, like I've mentioned before. And I should go back to that nose hole drilling. If you want to give nose hole drilling with an actual drill a try, just click on the above link and it will take you to a video I've made previous on how to drill the nose holes, and that will help you. Otherwise, you can get one of the awls like I've showed you yesterday, and that might help you as well, or either way. Otherwise, if you just want to leave it blank as it is, that's fine. Towards the end, when we get to more of a blushing of the heels and everything, you'll just give a little bit of a pinker colour in the nostrils, and that will give you a bit of depth in there. Sorry if you can hear a little knocking in the background. That is my bird, Biscuit, calling out to me. Being rude. Sorry. As you can see, when I video this, it's all pretty much live. It's what you see is what you get. I don't go back and re-record. I just do it as it comes. Okay, so we've got our little bowl, and we're going to get our water. So this tone, or this layer, is going to be like a second blushing. We did the berry blush tone in the beginning, which gave it the first part of that pinkness, and now this is going to be like a second blushing. It's an all over blushing. Once again, I'm only going to use minimum water because I don't need any excess. I just need what it is. Okay, so we're going to use equal parts, like we do every other time, but we've got blushing cheek color this time, and it is just a nice rose pink type of color. Okay, so I'm gonna do a front and back again because I know I want it. Okay, so I'll mix that into my water. And thank you everyone so far for watching the videos. I've obviously not yet uploaded part 2, but part 1 has been uploaded and has been really well taken. The paints have been very, very popular here in Australia, and obviously all over the world they are able to be sold. I am able to sell them, or I am able to put you onto someone who can sell them in your area. And it's been really encouraging to see how popular they are, because they're nice, easy to use, and definitely something for everyone. Okay, so next we're going to use the medium flesh like we have before. Remember, it's like a peachy apricot sort of color, and again equal parts, so I'm going to go front and back on my brush and mix it all in. And you can see there it's a nice, perfect light pink color. I think I'm going to add just one more side of each color, just because I really love the blush tone on the babies. I like them to be nice and pink. Okay, doing well. Okay, so as in all other times, I'll put my little lids back on my pots of paint. Just give it a little bit more of a mix. Any of those fine bits in the bottom, want to make sure it's all mixed in. Can you see that? I hope you can. Otherwise, like I always do, I get my little piece of paper. As you can see, I've got all my other colours on there. So we'll just give this one a test up the top here. And that's beautiful. A really nice pink colour there. So I'm happy with that. Now, I am going to just pounce it straight onto my sponge this time. This is the top part of the wedge that I rip off. I don't like to waste any. You can waste it, of course, if you want. So I'm going to make sure that's nice and soaked in the top there. And I'm going to pounce it directly on. Yeah, that's good. Great. Okay, so you basically know the drill. Pounce all your paint all over your kit, your head and your limbs. Let it dry for 20 minutes, and then we start on the next layer. Now remember, if you do have a little bit of paint left over, you're welcome to use it. Add an extra layer. And yeah, we'll see you for the next layer. We're definitely getting there. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a sec. Okay, so how are we all going with the painting? Really great, I hope. So yesterday I videoed the last layer in part 2 and in video. So today I'm going to have to reenact it. So this is the last part of part 2, and then we'll go on to part 3. So what I was doing in the last part of part 2 yesterday was the touches to the lips and nails. So what you're going to need for that is your berry blush tone, right? Berry blush tone, and you're going to need your medium flesh. Okay, so what I need you to do is, I hope you've got a lip brush. So this is the brush I usually use, and this is the lip brush. So they're pretty much the same, just a different size. So you're going to need that lip brush. But what I did to begin with is I just used the normal size, and I got like a swipe on one side of the berry blush tone, and I just put in my bowl, no water yet, and then I got a swipe of the medium flesh, and so I mixed those two together. So they're pretty dry, as you can imagine, because they're air dry paints, they're going to dry very quickly. Then I just got my water, and what I did is I dipped my finger in, and literally into the bowl I dripped one drip of water, one drop, that was all. And then I mixed it together, and I worked out the consistency I liked, and I ended up putting one more drop of water and mixing it together. Now, I wanted to mention with the paints that we're all over the world. Everyone's using these paints from all over the world. We've got different humidities, different climates, and that can change or alter the way your paint's going to work. So you need to learn your paint. Please don't think if it's not working right for you, please don't think you're doing it wrong. It's just a matter of getting to know it and getting to know how it works in your area. So that's the beauty about this. You can reapply it if you feel that you haven't got enough of a flesh tone yet. Go back and do another layer, but this time add a little bit less water, and you will find that you will become perfect at it just like everyone else. So don't feel bad if it's not working out right. So anyway, the paint that you've just mixed with the one dot, I then want you, or two dots I actually use, I then want you to get your lip brush. As you can see, little Danny has had paint put on his lips. So I just dipped into my paint, and I literally just painted over the lips very finely until I was happy with all of his lips painted. And then I went about and I did the same on his nails, on his toenails and fingernails, just like you're painting your own nails. Literally a thin layer of paint, and you will see it. You definitely will see it because we're only using those few drops of water. So when you've done that, put it aside to dry for the 20 minutes. And like I said, if you feel that your baby hasn't got enough layer of flesh tone, I mean, we are going to go into part 3 next, and in part 3 there is another 3 different layers of paint, and I'll probably be doing pardon me, I'll be doing a part 4, which will be when I add my own touch to Danny. So the part 3 will be to the end of it. It'll be the end of the Luminaire technique of what they say, just the basic technique of starting your painting. And then part 4 will be my own little bit into it, add into it, to what I want to get Danny looking a little bit more. I like my babies with a lot of mottling, and this Luminaire technique is more of a beautiful peaches and cream complexion, just that beautiful face, which you can see Danny has at the moment. So anyway, this is the end of part 2, and thank you very much for watching. And I was just checking that it was clicking over in time, like it didn't yesterday. And yes, thank you for watching. Don't forget, if you have any questions, please ask below. It's very important Don't ever give up if you think that it's not working right, because these paints are just so easy to use. It's just a matter of getting the correct amount of water, and then you'll see your technique. I mean, you can all see his little lips there, and he is looking really great. So anyway, check in with me for part 3, and you're doing great. I actually can't wait to see some of your babies. I hope you share them with me, even if it's via email, which I'll just put a little email link down there for you to email me, because I would love to see them. So thanks everyone for joining in. We'll see you next for part 3. Keep going.